I'm 29 seasons into my football manager save. Let me show you all the teams I've managed. So for me, I love starting unemployed and then going to a very weak nation to begin with. To be honest, this save escalated far quicker than I thought. So we started off in the Pakistani second division. Basically, dominating Pakistan was so easy because all I had to do was play a high intensity tactic and get one or two good players in, and they carried the team. Also, I think by this season I professionalized and I was the only team that was professional for a while, so I dominated. The only problem was I couldn't go very far in Asia, which is kind of my own fault because we would get to the final of basically the Europa League of Asia, and I would always lose. However, because we kept getting to the latter stages, our coefficiency rating went up, and so then we were put into the Asian Champions League and got absolutely battered every single time. So I never won an Asian trophy here, which is sad. Then we move on. Then I applied for the job at Accrington, or I think I might have been approached for the job at Accrington Stanley, who were in a relegation battle, and I kind of became a relegation battle expert for a while. I would describe myself as a Sean Dyche type manager. Accrington kept them up in League Two, got promoted the next season, and then I possibly would have been promoted to the champ. Well, Accrington did get promoted to the championship, I think, after I left. However, Preston came knocking, and they were like, "Yo, do you want to save us from relegation?" I did. The next season, they were in a promotion race, and then Derby were like, "Hey, could you save us?" And this was the start of a beautiful relationship with me and Derby, where okay, saved them from relegation, did very well, got into Europe. I think I won the Carabao Cup. Yep, I won the Carabao Cup. That was my first trophy in England. And then we just survived relegation again the following. We kind of pulled a Tottenham where we just survived relegation, but we won the Conference League. So not quite the same. It wasn't the Europa League, but we did this before Tottenham won the Europa League. I'll be honest, the save was 2.5 years old. Then somehow, and genuinely, I don't know how I did this. I won the Premier League this following season. I don't know. I hadn't even perfected my tactic at this point. It wasn't until this season where I had. I think I do believe all the other teams did very poorly. And this season I won the Europa League and the Premier League. Next season dropped down to third, but I did do a treble. Well, okay. Okay, look. I didn't win any trophies. I won basically the Finalissima. I kind of, which was us versus the South American, the what was it, CONMEBOL winners. I won the Community Shield, and then I won the Super Cup. So, a decent season, a decent enough season. Then this was, I think, the season where we started perfecting basically our tactics, where I won a proper treble. So in the Champions League, FA Cup, and Premier League. Following season did basically the same thing, but instead of the FA Cup, I won the Paraguay. No, I didn't actually. I did far worse. No, I did okay. Won the Premier League, won the Carabao Cup, then won the UEFA Super League. Then I was like, you know what? Let me do some international management. So I took on the England under-19s job. That season, we came second, and I think Arsenal won the league that season, and they absolutely dominated the league. I think even I was 6 points behind them by the end of the season. It was crazy. But I still won the Carabao Cup and the Community Shield. So again, a bit of a fall-off. Same season, I did win the Euros with England, which was crazy because I wasn't expecting that. However, then I left the job because I was like, well, there's a lot going on here, and I won an international trophy. I'll go back to internationals later on in my career. I think these are the seasons where basically I took off, and it was my last 4 seasons here. So I won the Premier League and the FA Cup. Then I won the same thing again, back-to-back seasons. And I was like, I just want to do the quadruple, or I want to win all the English trophies. And then the following season, I did that. So I won all the English trophies plus the Champions League. I think this was my first Champions League win. Let me check. This was my first Champions League win. And then the following season is the best season I've ever seen. Is I won 6 trophies with Derby, which was the Carabao Cup, Champions League, Super Cup, Community Shield, Club World Cup, and the Premier League. So the only one that really evaded me was the FA Cup, which was annoying, but alas. And I thought, you know what, we'll leave on a high. Also, at this point, I think here I bought a goalkeeper for £300 million. No. Yes, I think it was £300 million. And frankly, he did so well. I think he's still the best goalkeeper in the world a few seasons on. And I thought, you know what, let's try a new challenge. So then I went to the Argentinian Premier League. And typically, I don't stay at clubs this long. Whenever I play Football Manager, I'm usually at a club for 3 to 4 seasons max. But I thought I'd stay at Derby. Went to the Argentinian Premier League. Here, basically, the Argentinian Premier League is split into two halves, the Clausura and Apertura. I don't think that's the name of it now, but that's what I remember from an old book I was reading. So we joined after the first half of the season was over. We joined the second half of the season. We came ninth, which was still pretty good, considering how poorly I think Newell's were doing when I took over. We also won the Copa Argentina, which allowed us to qualify for, I believe, a trophy. I think the Comma Bowl or something, one of the two. And then Newell's, we won the Argentinian Super Cup again. We were third. I think we were doing very well in, I can't remember the competition's name, I apologize. Maybe the Comma Bowl, or I don't know. I can't remember. But we were doing pretty well. But this is a very personal thing. Jeonnam Dragons is one of my favorite football teams. They are a K2 division team in Korea. I love them. I love their kit. I've been obsessed with them since I randomized and played as them in a game of FIFA about 15 years ago. So I love Jeonnam Dragons. I have a t-shirt. The job finally came up. Mind you, I watched this job from the very start. Every time I start a game, I watch this job to hope I can get the job. And then eventually I was good enough that they were like, yeah, we'll take you as a manager. Also, I think Newell's waived my fee. So first season, I think I saved them from relegation. Second season, I won the K1 League. Yeah, I won the K1 League, and I think we were going to do... we won the K1 League, and then I saw the Valencia job, and I was like, you know what? Actually, the reason I moved back to Valencia was I discovered the manager points, which is crazy, because I've been playing the save for like 3 years, and I only just realized that, you can check where you are as a manager using manager points. And I was like, I'm like fifth. I'll show you later. I was like fourth or fifth. No, actually, I was somewhere high up in the world. I want to go to number one. And there's only one manager who is still managing at this point. I will show him later. And then, first season, I won the Copa del Rey. No, that's the Spanish Cup. I think that's the Copa del Rey. And then the next season, somehow, I was like, fuck it, we won everything. To be honest, though, the Spanish Super Cup isn't that hard to win. If you just get a good game against Barcelona, you win. Spanish Cup surprised me. Spanish First Division, so the La Liga, I won basically because Atleti fell off. Atleti were way ahead for almost the whole season, and in the last month and a half, they kept losing matches. And I kind of just snuck ahead of them. Champions League, again, surprised me because we basically did a PSG. We had to go through the playoffs to get to the final, and I think we had a pretty decent run towards the end. And yeah, now we are where we are now. Currently first in October. And yeah, but let me show you the manager points. I am currently 7th in the world. The only manager here who is still managing is Martin Di Michel. The thing is, he's only managed at River the whole time during my save. So, of course, River are going to always win in Argentina, so he keeps racking up points. So I need to basically get past him at some point, which is why I moved back to Europe to try and get more points. But it's a big gap between me and Pep at the very top. Okay, I didn't imagine this video being 10 minutes long, but yeah, that was a very in-depth description of my save. I didn't realize it was going to be 10 minutes.